Just a spectacular day for football in Lincoln, Nebraska. Blue skies, temperatures right around 60 degrees. And the Cornhuskers are back home off the bye week. Football on BTN presented by Unleaded 88 as the Indiana Hoosiers are in town. One win away is Indiana from clinching a bowl berth. Meanwhile, Nebraska at 4-3. Military Appreciation Day, and a moment ago, a flyover following the national anthem here in Lincoln, a spectacular sight. Nebraska came into this season with such high hopes, picked to win the West. After the loss to Minnesota, though, as I said, now sitting at 4-3, and they feel this is a very vital game today at home against the Hoosiers of Indiana. And those that played at Nebraska will tell you nothing will make the hair stand on your neck taller than making the tunnel walk, one of the great traditions in college football, and we're going to let you enjoy it as Nebraska gets set to take the field. Anticipation and excitement, the 373rd consecutive sellout today inside Memorial Stadium in Nebraska, wearing the alternate university, the black shirt jerseys here today. And there are the Nebraska Cornhuskers. First time that Indiana will be inside this building since 1977 for a key Big Ten showdown. And here come those Indiana Hoosiers from Bloomington. Off to their best start since 2007 at 5-2. A lot of interesting storylines surrounding both programs, and both centering around the quarterback position. Michael Penix, game time decision, and they say that he will be out in this game. Peyton Ramsey will make his 19th career start. And then you switch it over to Nebraska. They have quarterback questions of their own. Adrian Martinez, he is a game time decision. But they have other options. We saw Noah Vedral. He was the starter against Minnesota 2 weeks ago. They also have Luke McCaffrey and Andrew Bunch as options at that position as well. And we say hello from up top, everybody. Brandon Gaudin and James Laurinaitis with you. I'll tell you what, James, both of these teams, both these coaching staffs have had to go through the same thing this week because of those quarterback questions. Nobody knows who's going to start. Yeah, for Nebraska, Adrian Martinez is so important to them. He's second in the Big Ten in total yards per game for the Cornhuskers. And if he can't make the start, then it's going to be Noah Vedral. And it'll be his second career start. But he knows this offense very well. He knows it maybe better than Adrian Martinez. Offensive coordinator Troy Walters was telling us that he's a guy that might operate this offense a little faster than Adrian Martinez because he knows it so well. And for Indiana, Peyton Ramsey is a guy that is going to get the same play calls that Michael Penix would if he was a starter. But with Peyton Ramsey, he's a guy that's so efficient. He's in the record book at Indiana for the first, third, and fourth in single game completion percentage for the Hoosiers. He's very accurate. He knows the offense well, and he's becoming a good leader for the Hoosiers. And look, it's not just hyperbole to say this is a big game for both of these teams. I mentioned Nebraska picked to win the West. Now at 4-3, this is kind of a hinge game for them. Indiana, as I said, if they win, they could go bowling for the fourth time in 25 years. Yeah, in the last 2 years, they've had to struggle to get to that fifth win, just missing bowl eligibility. This would be huge for Tom Allen, and we asked him earlier in the week on our phone call, have you been mentioning it to the team? He said, no, one of our goals is to win our bowl game. We want to win that, and so getting the sixth hasn't really been mentioned. He feels his guys are really confident, and as you mentioned, Brandon, with Nebraska and all the hype going into this season, picked to win the Big Ten West,
you would never think from this fan base they'd be sitting here looking at this game against the Hoosiers as a must-win in order for them to get the bowl eligibility, because they still have some tough teams to go on their schedule.
All right, let's welcome in down on the field Rick Pizzo.
Brandon, I tried to get some answers to all those quarterback questions for both teams. Let's start with Nebraska. Adrian Martinez was a full participant in warm-ups, but there's no question he was not 100%. Adrian Martinez is the key to this offense, yet Noah Vedral, his backup, is also banged up. Scott Frost actually intimated to me that Vedral may be more banged up than Martinez. That could mean the appearance of true freshman Luke McCaffrey. On the other side, Michael Penix took part in warm-ups, mainly just throwing, though. His legs are important. He did not test that injured lower body. Peyton Ramsey took the majority of snaps and throws with the #1 offense, but like Scott Frost, Tom Allen also considering using multiple quarterbacks in this game.
Always a beautiful sight. 90,000 jam-packed into Memorial Stadium for sellout number 373 in a row. And as I mentioned, for Indiana, their first trip here since 1977. Smolder kicks it off, and Wan'Dale Robinson back to receive it. That's a good sign for Nebraska that Robinson is on the field. He was questionable all week. He is set to play for Scott Frost today. And now the question, who is the quarterback going to be? It looks like Vedral right now at the center of that huddle next to the head coach. We're going to find out when you do, and it is number 16, Noah Vedral, making his second career start. He got the start against Minnesota in that loss a couple of weeks ago. So no Adrian Martinez, at least for now, and Dedrick Mills will start in the backfield to his right. And off the play fake, here comes pressure, and they dump it out over the middle, and that's Noah. Kennevi Noah with a nice catch and a quick 16-yard gain. So Indiana brought the pressure, and Vedral settles in nicely, setting it up to Noah, 1st and 10, and now it's Dedrick Mills. Remember, Maurice Washington is out, suspended indefinitely, so Mills is the starting quarterback.
Well, we mentioned, Brandon, off the top, the tempo at which Noah Vedral can operate this offense. We see it here early.
And here comes a flag before the snap. Or player down, I should say.
Officials timeout. Injured defensive player.
And the crowd booing, thinking that maybe Indiana did this intentionally, but there is a man down right around the 50. It's Ty Freifogel.
Well, we used to have a call for that. If a team was going tempo, 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 we used to be told scuba, scuba, scuba. It meant to take a dive, try to slow things down. A little bit of the gamesmanship, but it's hard sometimes, and we'll see what happens here.
And I said Freifogel, I meant Taiwan Mullen, the cornerback that is down. And I don't know that that was a scuba situation, but Mullen does trot off.
No, and then the reason being it's so early in this game, there's no reason for these guys to be gassed.
Let's take a peek at the impact players presented by Auto Owners Insurance.
Yeah, well, Dedrick Mills is going to be the guy for Nebraska going forward. As you mentioned, Maurice Washington out. Wan'Dale Robinson does everything. I kind of nicknamed it, where's Wan'Dale? He lines up in the backfield at wide receiver. Micah McFadden, the guy that defensive coordinator Kane Womack has mentioned as kind of a playmaker for the Hoosiers, and DeMarcus Elliott has been playing really well.
2nd and 3, and they're going deep, and that is caught right around the 10 by J.D. Spielman. The junior big play threat makes it 1st and goal, less than a minute in.
He's right here in the slot, and he just beats the defender. J.D. Spielman has a good cushion, and what a beautiful ball by Vedral.
And on 1st and goal, they give it to Mills, and Mills powers his way to right around the 4-yard line. But the 45-yard pass to Spielman, and now it'll be 2nd and goal after a 2-yard run. Vedral showing the pop in that arm, James.
Yeah, and he looks really comfortable right now. And talking to offensive coordinator Troy Walters, he was saying that he felt that he operates this thing fast. He knows the offense really well. He's been in it for a long time, and he's looking confident so far.
And here he's taken off on a design run, and he will take it in for the score. And just like that, Nebraska has the lead. His second career start and his second career touchdown run. And a good sign for Nebraska also, Barrett Pickering, their starting kicker who had been injured through the first 7 games, is out there and he adds the PAT.
Well, we mentioned Adrian Martinez's athleticism. Don't sleep on Noah Vedral carrying it in for the first score.
Nebraska took him 88 seconds to go 75 yards. And it got the fans fired up with an early 7-0 lead.
Here we go, Big Red.
Coming off that open week, some extra rest. They felt like they had a good week of practice, and it showed there on the first drive.
And they jumped on him with that tempo. They were going quick over and over, getting up to the line of scrimmage really fast, and really had that Hoosiers defense on their heels.
Bristum to kick it away. Coming up, taking it on the run. Sneaks it across the 25 to around the 26-yard line. Let's go back to that long pass to J.D. Spielman.
Yeah, I want you to pay attention to Juwan Burgess here. He has been playing really well for Indiana, but what happens is he gets caught looking in the backfield and he's flat-footed. And once you're even right here with J.D. Spielman, Spielman's going to leave you. You're not going to be able to catch up. He stays square for way too long, and that's what gives him the space for Spielman to get by him. Like I said, Juwan Burgess had a big game last week, a really big forced fumble recovery, but he'll want that play back.
And now the focus on the Indiana offense as Peyton Ramsey gets the start again for the injured Michael Penix. And a quick throw out to Ty Freifel, or Whop Philyor rather. And for Whop Philyor, that is his 100th career reception. As we get a peek at Peyton Ramsey, who was really good against Maryland when he came in for the injured Penix.
Yeah, he came in a tied ball game and did a really nice job of leading this team. It's football for a guy to stick around as a backup quarterback. It's an impressive young man.
Making his 19th career start, this time underthrown. He had Philyor, but he missed him. Indiana, this offense, 520 yards against Maryland. They're happy to have Hunter Littlejohn back at center as well.
Around last week, and Stevie Scott has been getting going for this Indiana offense. Just in the first 5 games, only 281 yards. The last 2, 272. He's been catching fire.
An early 3rd down. Pocket clean, and a big first down to quiet this crowd and get Indiana into Nebraska territory. First catch of the game for Ty Freifel.
Just a nice job that time, being patient, that good protection, getting the ball over the middle of the field. A nice route by Freifel, finding the space.
22 yards for Freifel to keep the Indiana drive alive. Stevie Scott, he was over 100 yards against Maryland, but he'll only get 1 here. Nebraska wearing those black uniforms. They're hoping to channel the black shirt.
Talk about those black shirts, that Nebraska defense here at this school, and they're trying to raise their level of play, kind of be more physical at the point of attack. They need to tackle better. And speaking with defensive coordinator Eric Trenander, things they worked on during bye week.
And Scott Frost said, if we're going to wear those uniforms, we better honor the alumni who were pretty good wearing the blacks. Second down, throw out to Whop Philyor, but he is tackled well short of the line to gain. It'll be 3rd down, Indiana. And this crowd amped early. Empty set for Ramsey. And he completes it to Filliard. He's going to be about a yard short, but James, I'm guessing Indiana goes for this. What do you think?
Yeah, if I'm Tom Allen, I'm saying to my squad, hey, we came here to Lincoln to win. We're going to be aggressive. You have a big tailback, 6'2", 231 pounds. You either give him the ball or do some kind of zone read action. Let your veteran quarterback, Peyton Ramsey, make the right decision.
And remember, speaking of the run game, this Nebraska defense, the last 4 games, giving up 267 yards on the ground per contest. They don't give it to Scott, though. Off the play fake, wide open, Whop Filliard. And Indiana's into the red zone. That was well executed.
Well, Nebraska was thinking the exact same thing that I was mentioning earlier, that it was going to be a run to their big running back instead. Play action pass got him.
Our white hat today, Ron Snodgrass, ready to announce the penalty.
Roughing the personal foul, roughing the passer, defense. Number 7, half the distance to the goal, first down.
That's on the senior Mo Berry.
It's really just a nice job by Ramsey. Whop Filliard does a nice job, just a little easy corner route. When I asked the offensive coordinator, Kalen DeBoer, about what matchup do you like, he goes, I like the anytime Whop's on anybody. I like that matchup in the slot. And so far, he's been active in this football game.
Well, against Maryland, he had just 2 catches for 6 yards. He already has a few here, and up over 100 now on his career is Whop Filliard. Empty set again for Ramsey, and plenty of time to throw it, but no one to throw to. And at the last second, he just heaves it out of bounds. Auto Owners Insurance Impact Players in football.
Yeah, well, Whop Filliard, we've seen him so far in this first drive for Indiana. Peyton Hendershot is second on this team in receptions and yards, tied for touchdown receptions. Mohamed Berry is very active for this Cornhuskers defense. And Lamar Jackson, he is second in the nation with 11 pass breakups. With the big body wide receivers of Indiana, he's going to have a big game holding up.
Stevie Scott went in motion. Keeper, Ramsey, nowhere to go. Looked like he had a little bit of daylight, but coming up, JoJo Doman to make the stop. Third and goal after a 1-yard loss. Indiana subs in Ronnie Walker in the backfield. 10th play of the drive. Ramsey to Whop Filliard, and he's going to be tackled a few yards short. So we'll see if Indiana settles for the field goal or if they're going to go for this. It's like they're keeping the offense out there.
Well, they're setting the field goal unit on now. I'm saying it's early in this ball game. I know you want to match the touch on that Nebraska. You need to get some points on the board if you're Indiana.
Yeah, that's maybe a situation where if you got it to the 1-yard line, you go for it, but 3 a little too much.
No question. And we know Tom Allen is super competitive, and he wants to be able to get 6 here, but you have to be smart when you're not on that 1-yard line, as you mentioned.
22-yarder for Justice. And it is just inside the left upright, but good all the same. Logan Justice, one of 6 kickers in the nation to still be perfect on the season. He hasn't missed. So some early action, a quick score for Nebraska. Indiana takes it inside the 10, but they have to settle for 3. But I'll tell you what, you mentioned up-tempo. I think we're going to see a lot of that today.
Yeah, we are, and you see the accuracy of Peyton Ramsey already. 6 for 8, 63 yards on that drive, targeting Whop Filliard, who's a big-time mismatch that they felt coming in. You mentioned only 2 receptions a week ago. They spread that football around really well against Maryland, but the emphasis early on that first drive, at least, was to get Whop Filliard the ball.
5 catches for Whop Filliard. Got Indiana into position, but they couldn't punch it in. Let's check back in with Rick Pizzo.
Brandon, as impressive as Noah Vedral was on that first drive, leading the Huskers to an opening touchdown, I was just as impressed by his sideline demeanor. Here's a kid coming off a miserable performance against Minnesota, had 2 weeks to rest on it, knows how important this game is for the Husker season, and after that touchdown, he was all business. Wanted the headset back from Adrian Martinez, heard exactly what he wanted to hear, gave Martinez back the headset, went to all his offensive players, and basically said, here we go, next time we get on the field, it's another touchdown.
Well, they're hoping they can strike as quick as they did last time. Now a little reverse, and Spielman is going to throw it to Vedral. And the quarterback steps out of bounds just shy of the 50, and then he gets hit late. They're going to tack 15 more onto the end of this. 22-yard pass play, and then the late hit from Indiana.
We see here they give the ball to Wan'Dale Robinson. Vedral, no one's going to pick him up as he leaks out of the backfield. Nice hands extending for the catch. And then you see the late hit by Burgess there. And gosh, that's tough as a defender, Brandon. This is difficult. You don't know whether he's in or out.
Late hit out of bounds. Defense, number 5. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Yeah, that's a good point, James. Burgess didn't know that he had stepped out.
No, that's not fair to Burgess there on that call, and I understand that the official can see that he steps out of bounds and thinks it's late. But as a player, you're trying to come inside out. You're trying to get to the ball carrier to force him out. You have no idea. You're not hearing that whistle as the crowd's going nuts on the reception. This is a tough penalty going against Indiana.
Yeah, I'm with you. That is tough luck for Juwan Burgess and Tom Allen. But it gives Nebraska great field position already inside the 35 of Indiana. And now whistles before they gave it to Wan'Dale Robinson. Trying to sort things out here. And I think that they are discussing where the football should be. I think they might have put it in the wrong spot. I think it should be on the 38-yard line. And now the crowd growing antsy. They're booing. At least Scott Frost can get a chuckle out of all of it.
Runner was out of bounds at the 47-yard line, plus the 15-yard penalty, first down.
All right, let's head to Chicago and Mike Hall for this American Family Insurance Studio update.
Brandon and James, we wanted to officially update you. The game is now over. Kansas State has shocked the college football world this week, taking down top 5 ranked Oklahoma 48-41.
Yeah, last week it was Illinois shocking the college football world, and of course that helps out the undefeated teams in the Big Ten. Now this is Wan'Dale Robinson, and he is breaking tackles. Back from injury, and inside the 10-yard line goes the freshman from Frankfort, Kentucky. That's the dynamic he brings to this offense.
Yeah, and you think for a guy that only stands 5'10", 190 pounds, he wouldn't be this tough to bring down, but you see the heart and the effort from Wan'Dale Robinson. Just a tunnel screen there. Nicely done, breaking the tackles, getting a big gain.
And now they hand it to him, and Robinson goes straight ahead and is going to be ruled down just short of the goal line.
You see that knee goes down right there. The ball still short of the goal line. Nebraska with tempo, trying to get up there that time, and you think Scott Frost might just go do the same thing.
We'll see what they do. This Indiana defense right now on its heels. Vedral gives to Robinson. Robinson is met and dropped, and once again a little shy of the goal line. Raekwon Jones in there on the stop.
What a tackle by Raekwon Jones. See him roll his hips there, keeps him short. Ball not getting there. Burgess there as well to help. Raekwon Jones leading this Hoosier defense in tackles. Nice one there.
Now they bring in Dedrick Mills, and he's going to be the lead blocker, and Vendel's going to take it in for his second rushing touchdown of the first quarter. Mills, the lead blocker, and what a start for Vendel. 3 for 3 passing it, 2 rushing touchdowns, and then he had the reception earlier as well. And the PAT good by Pickering.
A nice job there. Dedrick Mills leading the way for his quarterback for a second score of the game.
So again, look at number 5 Oklahoma, shocked at Kansas State 48-41, and that opens the door up near the top. It'll be an interesting thing. You can't take any game for granted. That's what we learn. The later we go in the college football season, the crowd here at Memorial Stadium, they have loved what they have seen so far. Nebraska 2 drives, both 75 yards, and took them a total of 316 to get those pair of touchdowns. This time a squib kick. And a return out shy of the 30-yard line. But you know, you think about that win for Kansas State and what that does from the Big Ten perspective, because obviously it helps Ohio State, but I feel like Penn State's under the radar. That really helps the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly how James Franklin wants it. He wants everyone talking about Ohio State and the Buckeyes and how good they are on all 3 phases of their team, but Penn State's going to move up to the top 5 now, and if they can take care of business in East Lansing today and then continue against Minnesota, who's played really well so far this season, I think you're going to look at a Nittany Lion team and a Buckeye team playing each other in late November, possibly both in the top 5 in the poll.
Boy, what a monster matchup that would be. Nothing going here for Indiana on the ground.
But as you mentioned, Brandon, it's any given day. Either team can win. We have a lot of guys, a lot of talent, not only in the conference, but across the nation. And as you see today with Oklahoma going down, you just never know when that one team overlooks a team, or maybe a little sleepy at a 11 a.m. kickoff and stuff like that. It happens. College football, that's why it's beautiful.
But Ohio State getting a lot of attention, and rightfully so. Penn State just keeps trucking along with all those victories themselves. Ramsey able to complete it, and that's to Miles Marshall. Let's bring back in Rick Pizzo.
Brandon, you guys are discussing the implications of that Oklahoma loss. It might even open up a spot potentially for the Ohio State-Penn State loser. Imagine if the loser of that game falls by just a field goal and doesn't make the Big Ten championship game. If that's the only loss with all the quality wins that team would have, if one more team in that top 5 were to fall, you'd then have the opportunity to get 2 teams from the Big Ten inside the playoff picture.
That's an excellent point, Rick. So many people all year talking about 2 teams from the SEC, but you're exactly right. That could open the door for 2 from the Big Ten. Ramsey throwing on the run. Who else? Whop Fillier, his 6th catch of the first quarter. And then Whop took a bit of a pop, but he got the first down.
Yeah, and look at Whop Fillier. It takes a while to get across the formation, but the accuracy of Ramsey to put that in front of him, and then the toughness of Fillier to hold on to the football as he takes that shot. So far, Peyton Ramsey's been so comfortable in the pocket. That time they rolled him out of the pocket, but Nebraska unable to get pressure on Ramsey so far.
It was a good hit, though, by Cam Taylor-Britt, as Fillier will sit this play out. Off the play fake. Ramsey lets that develop, and he drops it off for Matt Bjornson. As we go to Chicago and Mike Hall for an American Family Insurance Studio update.
Well, Brandon, you guys are talking about Penn State. We might as well update you in their land-grant trophy game against Michigan State. Look at that pass. Clifford to Pat Freiermuth. Nittany Lions up 7-0 in the first.
They continue to roll. Stevie Scott's going to split out to the top of your screen. 2nd and 6. Here comes a blitz, and they go out to Stevie Scott. So the running back turned wide receiver gets it inside the 30, first down.
And that's just great recognition by Ramsey. A lot of times when you bring a zone pressure, you're vulnerable in the flats. And you want to take away the inside easier throws. Peyton Ramsey's seen a lot during his time in college football. He notices the blitz, brings it out to the flat there to Scott. Nicely done. And this is exactly what Kalen DeBoer does. He likes to throw it vertically and horizontally, get you loosened up on defense, and then he comes back to the run game later on in the football game.
Ramsey on this drive, 4 completions to 4 different receivers, and he's going back to the air. Needs to buy some time. Fillier, did he stay in bounds? Yes, they say. Toe tapping inside the 10.
Well, let's see here. Does he get it? There's the ball in his hands. Foot is down.
Ooh. Did he have possession? That'd be tough to overturn. And now we're going to get whistles here to take a look at it.
The ruling on the field is a completed catch. The play's under further review.
But you're right, he did have the feet inbounds initially. Did he have firm grasp of it, though? I think that's going to be the question.
You see right here, let's look at the elements. You got the hands on the football, the foot is down, and he just brings it into his body. I don't see anything there where the ball is juggling. A lot of times, if the ball's still moving as they bring it in. But that looks like a catch to me.
Okay, good time for the first time to welcome in Dean Blandino from LA. Dean, what did you see?
Yeah, I like this as a catch. You have to establish control first and then watch that left foot is still on the ground as he brings it into his body, and then he maintains control. So it's close. They're going to take a look at it, but I would imagine they confirm this, or at the very least let it stand.
Now, which you can't see here, Dean, but if you saw the ball kind of jostle free on the exchange from the hands to the body, then would that be ruled an incompletion at that point?
It could be. Again, you have to establish firm control first. So if he doesn't have control, then the body part, the foot, if that foot comes up off the ground before he establishes control, then we would have an incomplete pass.
Completed catch.
And there we go. Thank you, Dean. Completed catch, as you and James speculated, in Indiana with a first down. Great catch by Whop Fillier.
Yeah, and already that's 7 on this ball game for Whop Fillier, and he's been obviously a main focal point for this Indiana offense. But again, it's the accuracy that Peyton Ramsey has, and so far he's 11 for 13.
He keeps it, and everybody went for Stevie Scott, and Ramsey goes in untouched. Beautifully designed, and the Hoosiers are on the board with an 8-yard touchdown run by their quarterback. So we've had 3 touchdowns in this game, all quarterback runs.
Yeah, Peyton Ramsey saying, no, Vedral, I see you. I see you over there with your couple touchdown runs. Let me get one myself. And as you mentioned, what about the play design that time by offensive coordinator Kalen DeBoer? Nicely done.
Justice missed it. His first miss of any kind this year. He was 27 of 27 on PATs and 10 of 10 on field goals until that point.
Well, you can see the whole defense goes the wrong way. That leaves Ramsey with the easy walk-in.
We've had 4 drives and 4 scores in this game. It's closer and closer to the month of November. So 4 drives in this game and 4 scores. And Nebraska with a 14-9 lead as they get set to get the football back here. And with the wind at his back, a touchback for Smoller, the Hoosiers. Tonight on BTN, Lexi Sun leads the Huskers into a top 20 volleyball showdown with the Boilermakers. Big Ten volleyball, all powered by Unleaded 88 tonight, 8 Eastern. You can watch it here on BTN, also on the Fox Sports app.
What a great fan base they have here at Nebraska for volleyball. Last year I was here trying to get a TV turned on Ohio State Purdue, and I had to beg the bartender to change it from the volleyball game. They love their Husker volleyball here in Lincoln.
Yeah, they do indeed, and that's a big one tonight. As you said, a top 20 showdown. And the football team right now looking good, especially on offense, as they take over for their third drive. And a quick screen out to the right. Spielman trying to maneuver his way out to the 25-yard line before he's chucked out of bounds. Tom Allen was asking for a holding call, but he didn't get it. No gain on that play, and now they'll go with Dedrick Mills, and Mills will get a gain. He's a powerful runner, lowering his shoulder and getting 5 extra yards, a pickup of 14.
You see here at the end, Dedrick Mills wanting to finish the tough run. Lowers that shoulder into the defender, trying to make a statement.
And now, here come the boos again. Second time we've had an Indiana defender down, and it's Thomas Allen, the son of head coach Tom Allen.
Well, as I mentioned the first time, I don't think it was the scuba technique as I mentioned, but Nebraska has been going quick, and those are tricky in those situations when a team goes no tempo offense. As you hear the crowd boo again, it's not that they would ever boo someone being injured, but it does come into play on quick tempo offenses.
Thomas Allen being helped up. Let's take a look at it.
To the left of the end logo, as they're lining up, he goes down to the field, and you never want to speculate if someone's actually injured. You never want to assume anything, but of course the Nebraska fans are going to assume all day long that that's what I called the scuba technique.
Thomas Allen went to high school down in Tampa, Florida. That's when Tom Allen was the defensive coordinator at USF during his high school days. So Allen goes off, and now Wan'Dale Robinson gets the carry, and a nice run out near midfield before he's tackled by Andre Brown.
I mentioned it's the where's Wan'Dale. He already has a reception. Now he has a couple carries. He lines up all over the place for this Cornhusker offense. Such a versatile athlete.
So happy to have him back out there. He was a game time decision. And again, they're missing Maurice Washington, their normal starting running back. No carry or no gain on the carry that time for Wan'Dale Robinson. Third down and 3. They need to get to the 49. Looking to the left, going to Robinson, and he barely does make it to the 49 for a first down, gain of 4 yards.
That's great recognition by Vedral there, knowing that their man coverage, Indiana was showing man, said I'm going to take my guy in the flat before Micah McFadden can get there, pick up the first down.
Robinson getting a breather on this play. Dedrick Mills back in to the right of Vedral. And it is Mills. Mills met at the line of scrimmage, wrapped up by James Head Jr., the defensive end. Young sophomore who has worked his way into a starting role this season.
Yeah, and if you're defensive coordinator Kane Womack, you need a big stop here. You need to be able to hold this Nebraska offense for the first 2 drives that went down with ease.
Mills motions out left. And they're going to go to the tight end, Austin Allen. Allen will be a yard shy of the first down marker. Likely 4-down territory here as they snap it at the 41 of Indiana. Play action, Vedral to the sideline, but he missed him. And a little too high that time, trying to get it to Warner.
And as you mentioned, 4-down territory, that's why you take a shot. That's why you have that shot play, because you know you have a 4th down play in your back pocket. You see here, they're going quick.
Federal steps away and they snap it. Little deception straight to Mills, and it worked. And Indiana a little on their heels looking to the sideline.
He had me on my heels up here. I saw Vedra look to the sideline. I started looking at some of the signals, and next thing you know, the ball snapped. Look at the gamesmanship. You're going to see Vedra peek over at Scott Frost and the direct snap. And to have the confidence in Juergens to get that snap, the young center to execute that. Some nice trickery out of Scott Frost.
That'll wind us down to the end of the first quarter, and the crowd, they like what they have seen through 15 minutes of play. Big game. Indiana trying to go bowling, and Nebraska trying to get back in the win column. Good action through 15 minutes. So again, no Maurice Washington. That's the news this weekend. Here's a quote from Scott Frost. Certain standards that we ask our players to uphold. When those standards aren't upheld, doesn't matter who it is, they're not going to be part of our plans that week or potentially longer. So Maurice Washington gone indefinitely.
Yeah, talking to him yesterday, he was talking about how he was one of those guys that they were counting on coming into the season, being an explosive playmaker for this Nebraska offense. So Scott Frost has a certain standard, as you mentioned, wearing that red you have to uphold to, and Maurice is gone.
But they're happy to have, as we said, Wan'Dale Robinson back in the mix, and he takes the ball down to around the 35-yard line to pick up a 4. Wan'Dale Robinson, he's a guy that Indiana recruited very hard. He's from Kentucky, and they wanted him about as much as anybody they brought in this year.
Well, you can see why. He's so versatile. He's so talented. Can line up at wide receiver, at tailback, and to be a true freshman and to be able to handle all that in the playbook with all that Scott Frost is asking of him, really impressive.
He sits this play out, though. It's a design quarterback run. You said it earlier. Look, Martinez is athletic, but Vedral is showing he's pretty athletic, too.
And when you watch the Minnesota game early on, they moved down the football field, and it just seemed that inopportune times there'd be a penalty or there'd be something that would happen that would stall a drive. But what I noticed from Noah Vedral is that he could run the ball himself and was pretty athletic.
And he's going to take off again. So he's got the 2 touchdown runs and now back-to-back runs here for a first down.
And that's just smart football by Scott Frost. You notice that Indiana didn't have an answer on the previous play, so you run the same thing twice in a row, go right back to it. Don't give them a chance to adjust to it on the sideline. Pick up the first down.
This time fakes the run and then takes off. As we go to Mike Hall in Chicago, American Family Insurance Studio update.
Brandon, the Gophers are undefeated and looking great to start off against Maryland. Tyler Johnson, a 16-yard score. He's now alone second place in Gopher history for career touchdown grabs. They're up 21-0.
What a year it's turning out to be for Minnesota.
Yeah, absolutely. And P.J. Fleck's done a tremendous job. Tanner Morgan, that wide receiver core with Rashad Bateman, Tyler Johnson, and obviously a loaded running back room up in Minneapolis.
Up the middle, getting the call. Dedrick Mills upended right around the 18. So 3rd and 2 coming up. Running to the left, Vedral is hit and he dropped it, and Indiana picks it up. Going the other way is Big Alan Stallings. Stallings can move at 246 pounds. Vedral catches him inside the 10. Well, the crowd cheers, but that is a very pro-Indiana play. Jamar Johnson forced it free. Alan Stallings picks it up, and it'll be 1st and 10 Indiana.
Well, there's a lot here to break down, but you see the ball goes off his right knee. That is a fumble. It looked like it was going to be a pass, like there was a long developing kind of pass as he was rolling out. Stallings picks it up, and how about the effort of Vedral? He gets tackled here. You see the ball come out. The ability to get up and save the touchdown.
I think he was trying to pass it.
At the end, he just got tackled. I can come out.
All right, let's check in with Dean Blandino as Alan Stallings catches his breath here. Dean, we think that that's a fumble. Do you agree?
I agree. I thought initially maybe he just flicked it forward underhand, but you see great looks here. Ball out before the hand comes forward with control. Another great look. That is a fumble. Call on the field should be confirmed.
All right, thank you, Dean. Yeah, I think, James, you're right. The fact that it hit his knee was the real obvious call there.
Yeah, and like I said, I think the way the play was designed and everyone's eyes back to the quarterback, I think he was making it look like a rollout, was going to throw. It's a long developing play. And a nice job, as you mentioned, by Jamar Johnson. Pulling the trigger, going up and getting him down, forcing the fumble. Stallings still catching his breath. The big fella trying to take it all the way and nearly got there. But a game-changing plays. And talking to Kane Womack, he said to us, we need 10 of these a game. That's our goal. And that's a takeaway. That's a sack, 3 and out, 4th down stop, or a defensive touchdown. Well, that's a takeaway. You got one. They had 9 a week ago against Maryland. Very timely takeaway if it stands for Indiana.
But as you said, at least give Noah Vedral a lot of credit for tracking down Stallings.
And you see the effort to go lay out. Again, that's not easy. When you've been on a long drive yourself, he's carried the football himself.
Confirmed. First down and goal from the 8-yard line.
As we speculated, Indiana football. Not all game-changing plays are created equal. That was a big one.
Oh, it's huge. You think Nebraska's going to at least come away with a field goal here. Now it changes the dynamic of this football game here early in the second quarter.
Alan Stallings with a 68-yard return after the forced fumble by Jamar Johnson. Ramsey going for the end zone, back pylon, and it is caught by Ty Freifogel, his second touchdown of the season, and Indiana has its first lead.
Let's make sure that he catches this. Got the ball, feeder down, ball's not moving. That's a touchdown, and what a throw by Peyton Ramsey. Nice little fade route to Freifogel. When you have that 6'2" wide receiver matched up on a 5'10" D-back, and you put the ball perfectly away from the corner, nicely done by Peyton Ramsey. Looking sharp early in this football game.
Is he ever? 12 of 14, 134 yards in the touchdown pass. And a PAT up and good. Remember, Justice missed the last extra point, but he converts there. Well, what a switch in this football game. Noah Vedral, he coughs it up. Alan Stallings returns at 68 yards, and then the touchdown by Freifogel to put the Hoosiers on top. That quick one-play drive, Ty Freifogel with a touchdown reception. And the Hoosiers trying to go bowling for just the 4th time in 25 years. Up 16-14, Alan Stallings, who had the long return on that fumble, getting a breather as Indiana kicks it back off. This is the other 99 that kicks it away. He's back deep, Brody Belt, but this will be a short one to the 20. And it's returned just across the 30-yard line by Wyatt Mazur. Returned by number 37, Wyatt Mazur. Rick, has Alan Stallings caught his breath yet down there?
Brandon, he wasn't just getting a breather, he was getting an extended breather. After receiving congratulations from all of his teammates following a run that came up just short, Stallings went back to the sidelines, didn't even make it to the official bench, stopped at the training table. He had to sit down and catch his breath. And even after that play, his teammates weren't congratulating him. They were busting his chops, asking him if he needed oxygen. He stayed on the table until guess what happened? The replay got shown on the big board, and then suddenly the energy was right back. He hopped up on his feet to watch it.
They're probably giving him some stuff too for not getting into the end zone, being caught by the quarterback as the flag comes in.
Ball start. Offense, number 76, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Backs him up 5 yards. Well, before the action kicks off on Saturdays, Dave, Jerry, Howard, and Michelle, they get the excitement started with BTN Tailgate. Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, presented by Papa John's on BTN and the Fox Sports app. First and 15, Wan'Dale Robinson will take it out around the 35-yard line. Thomas Allen, who went off earlier with an injury, makes the stop. Play fake on 2nd and 13. They get it outside, but that is sniffed out by Cam Jones. Coming up to make the hit on Jack Stoll.
Yeah, Marcelino Ball applying the pressure there on the blitz on the perimeter. Great eye discipline by Cam Jones that time. He is fun to watch on film. His closing speed is super impressive, but his ability to keep his eyes on his man, comes back across the line of scrimmage, makes a sure tackle, forces the 3rd and long.
So Nebraska needs to get to the 47-yard line, and this isn't going to do it. In fact, they're going to go in the wrong direction. Shamar Jones, first man. Now a flag comes in here. They have a face mask.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 96, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
That's a bailout right there.
Yeah, it is. And you talk about the momentum was turning towards Indiana. You think you have a 3 and out. Instead, it's a face mask, giving Nebraska a new set of downs. This is a mental toughness check for the Indiana defense. You thought you're off the field. Now can you get another 3 plays and force Nebraska to punt?
And penalties have really hurt Indiana this year. They had 11 big penalties against Maryland, even though they did end up winning that game. And here's a direct snap to Wan'Dale Robinson, but he's taken down. Nice job by Alfred Bryant coming in there. He wasn't fooled.
And again, that's the 3rd kind of trick play by Scott Frost. And talking to the defensive coordinator from Indiana, Kane Wommack, he was saying there's already so much to prepare for. Those are 3 new wrinkles already in this football game from Scott.
And then a low snap, but Vendrell handles it, goes downfield, and completes it to Mike Williams. "34 yards to the senior."
Yeah, and a nice catch. I mean, just the 4th catch of the season for Mike Williams. Nice job bringing it in, and great accuracy by Vedral.
And guess what? Nebraska's going quick. Wan'Dale Robinson, so elusive inside the 15-yard line. And Indiana once again has Thomas Allen down on the field. Remember, he was down earlier in the 1st quarter.
See Thomas Allen right here in there at linebacker for Indiana, and he is wearing an arm brace. You see that on his right arm, that shoulder brace kind of harnessed there, and you don't know if that's it or not, but that was an immediate reaction from him on the missed tackle.
And he is still on his back at the 20-yard line, and now being helped up as his dad comes over, head coach Tom Allen. And now the crowd applauds as Thomas Allen walks slowly off the field. Well, next Saturday, another great slate of Big Ten football coming your way. All kicks off noon on Fox, Nebraska and Purdue, 3:30 on BTN, Rutgers and Illinois, then the nightcap on FS1 with Northwestern and Indiana. All those games can also be seen on the Fox Sports app.
Illinois with a nice win today. Getting to host Rutgers next week. Bowl eligibility still in the window there for Lovie Smith and the Fighting Illini.
How quickly things have turned around there after the win against Wisconsin. Trying to hurdle inside there, Dedrick Mills, but he is taken down. So third down coming up here for Nebraska.
Again, we mentioned the face mask earlier on this drive that gave Nebraska the new set of downs, kept this drive alive for them. If you're Indiana, you think you got to at least hold them to a field goal, try to keep some of that momentum.
Spielman in motion. Robinson spun forward to the 10-yard line. He's going to be a little short, so a decision coming up for Scott Frost. The crowd, of course, wants the offense to stay on the field, and right now they are. Vedral hands it off. First down, no problem. And 90,000 approve. Now there is a flag down here on the far side of the field.
Illegal formation. Offense, number 19 was lined up in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Fourth down.
And that changes things. So now Scott Frost is going to have to send out the field goal unit.
And that's got to be disappointing for Scott. You get a first down there, you think you're going to have an opportunity to take a shot at the end zone. Instead, you're going to attempt the field goal.
And it's Barrett Pickering who missed the first 7 games with an unspecified leg injury, but he was the starter coming into the year. And it's a 32-yard field goal for number 32. And he hooks it left. So we have seen some pretty violent momentum swings in this game, and there's another one. Nebraska had a chance to regain the lead, but Pickering hooks it left. On BTN and the Fox Sports app. So after the missed field goal by Nebraska, Indiana takes over. Stevie Scott, haven't been able to get him going yet. It's just his 3rd carry of the game, and he only has a couple of yards.
Yeah, I told you, the offensive coordinator, Kalen DeBoer, likes to throw the football horizontally, likes to get the defense running and then come back to the rushing attack. 14 pass attempts, just 5 rushes on the game so far. So he's sticking to the script. Likes to get that defense tired, kind of thinking about all the pass stuff that can happen, and then come back to that ground game later in the football game.
Saw the total yardage. Nebraska way up, but Indiana, they lead where it matters. Ramsey, as the pocket collapses, gets it out to Fillier. Fillier with his 8th catch of the first half. As we go to Mike Hall in Chicago, here's an American Family Insurance Studio update.
Well, Brandon, I think we can officially say Minnesota is not in a trap game against Maryland. This time the defense is scoring. Coney Durr, 72 yards on an interception return for a score. They got Penn State in their next game, but they're already up 28-0.
And that's looking to be a battle of undefeated teams, Minnesota and Penn State. Third and 1. Up the middle. First down. Stevie Scott slips through. First time he's been able to break off a nice run as he takes it to the 45 for a gain of 16.
Yeah, and a nice job there by Stevie Scott and the offensive line opening that gap for him. And once the big back gets rolling downhill, that's a tough tackle for any secondary player. Stevie Scott's gotten going the last few weeks, and Nebraska during bye week tried to shore up that run defense. Let one get through there.
This time they flip it back to Ramsey. But it's going to be incomplete in the direction of Miles Marshall. Little flea flicker action.
I was mentioning that run defense for the Cornhuskers. The first 3 games, they hold their opponents under 100 rushing yards each. The last 4 games, they've given up 1,068 yards on the ground. Indiana's been trending up with their ground game. Nebraska's been trending down, talking about physicality, toughness. They worked on it during bye week.
They needed to. I mean, Minnesota ran all over him for 322 yards on the ground. Indiana trying to go back to the air, but they're not going to be able to. Coming in, Ben Stille knocking down Peyton Ramsey. Loss of 7.
Well, there's Ben Stille right here, and really this is because the coverage downfield. Look at how much time Stille has to get around the corner and get to the quarterback. Peyton Ramsey looked through his reads. And you see downfield here, he has nowhere to throw the football. Setting up a big 3rd down.
3rd and 17. Nebraska only rushes 3. Ramsey's going to take off. He's got some space, but he will only make it out to midfield, and he needed to get to the 45 of Nebraska.
Well, as you mentioned, Nebraska decides to drop 8. A nice little pump fake. Gets Tanner off his feet a little bit. You're always taught as a defensive football player, don't leave your feet when a quarterback does the pump fake. But in the end, they stop Indiana short. They're going to force a punt.
Ramsey and that Indiana offense back to the sideline as Nebraska has Khalil Davis down on the field at the end of that play. And we'll step aside. Now that's the crew that was responsible for the pregame flyover, and now they are here enjoying the game from the sidelines. Nothing better than this pregame, right?
No, that's the best. The best thing about football, you got the flyover. Nothing will get you fired up like that after the national anthem.
First punt by either team. Indiana trying to keep this in bounds, and they do. Or I should say out of the end zone. So tough field position for Nebraska after the 47-yard punt. Scoring recap, and it's been all about the quarterbacks.
Yeah, it has, and Noah Vedral with a couple touchdown rushes himself. You got the missed extra point. Peyton Ramsey says, I see you, Noah. I'm going to do one myself. And look at this. Nice touch. He's accurate. 13 for 16. And so far, it's the battle of the backups. This is Noah's 2nd start in his career. Peyton Ramsey has a little bit more experience than that. Starter a year ago, and talk about the character he has to stick with it after being replaced by Michael Penix as a starter. Sticks with it, loyal to his team, and does a nice job filling in when needed.
Vedral lost it at the end of the play. Still fighting for it. And it looks like Nebraska has it, and they do. Dedrick Mills was able to recover it.
And Vedral looks slow to get up.
Yeah, you're exactly right. The backup quarterback Vedral is down. Now there is Luke McCaffrey, young freshman that they're high on. And might we see him next? But Noah Vedral, another fumble, and we'll be back. So Noah Vedral couldn't even walk off under his own power, being helped there just a moment ago. So they go to the 3rd string quarterback, and that is the freshman Luke McCaffrey. And McCaffrey trying to run it on the first play, and he's going to be swallowed up quickly. Luke McCaffrey, yes, of course, the brother of Christian McCaffrey, the son of Ed McCaffrey. They have high hopes for his future, but he's thrust in here.
Yeah, and the only experience, he has 1 carry on the year for 3 yards. That was his 2nd one right there, and obviously you recognize the name. You know that he's a very athletic quarterback. And they were going to use him against Minnesota, but just the game kind of got out of hand to the point to where they didn't want to put him in. Now being called upon. 3rd and 1, down 2 early in this football game.
Has yet to throw a pass in his young career, and here he's going to hand it off to Mills. And Mills is going to be stopped, apparently for no gain. James Miller coming up and making a nice stop defensively. And Nebraska will have to punt it.
Yeah, what a nice play by the redshirt freshman. getting blocked, says, you know what? I'm going to get off this block of Juergens. I'm going to make the tackle for the 3rd down stop. That's big by Indiana.
Was it ever? And now Isaac Armstrong punting from his own end zone. Whop Fillier coming up, fair catch just across the 50. 41-yard punt as we take a look at the house they built by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. We mentioned the alternate black uniforms they're wearing. The black shirts, that refers to the defense's black practice jersey, traditionally given to the first team defense, and it began with Bob Devaney's 3rd season back in the 60s. It's only the 3rd time that they've worn those uniforms.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, if you're going to wear those uniforms, you better put on a good performance to pay homage to the greats that have played defense here in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Black shirt defense trying to keep their deficit at 2 as Ramsey starts this drive with a nice pass to Whop Fillier. Flag comes in. As it stands right now, it's a 20-yard gain, and it would put Fillier over 100 for the first half.
Holding. Defense, number 21. Penalties decline. The results of the play, 1st down.
So Fillier, 9 catches, 107 yards.
Yeah, you think he was a big part of the game plan. You'll see here is Lamar Jackson grabbing the arm. Didn't matter. Back shoulder throw. Again, the accuracy that Peyton Ramsey throws with is unbelievable. And moving down the field again here for the Hoosiers.
And Nebraska feels like they've got good corners in Jackson and Boodle, but they've had their hands full this afternoon. Fakes the toss. Ramsey keeps up the middle, and he is dragged down by Alex Davis. 2nd and 4.
You got to wonder here. You're in a territory at the 27-yard line. Do you take a shot here? 2nd short. You know, no matter what, if it's an incomplete pass, you're still in kind of a 3rd medium, 3rd short. Do you take a shot at the end zone against this Cornhusker defense?
We'll see. Empty set. Whistles before the snap at a timeout by Indiana.
Indiana, they're first. This will be a 30-second timeout.
And now we get a 30-second message with our sponsor, Nationwide.
All right, Brad, once again, I have revolutionized the songwriting process.
Here we go.
I know I can't play an instrument, but this is my forte. Obviously, for auto insurance, we've got the wheel route.
Obviously.
Retirement, we're going with a long-term play.
Makes sense.
Pet insurance.
Wait, let me guess. Flea flicker.
Yes. How'd you know? Been studying my playbook.
Yeah, actually.
2:35 to go. Indiana using their first of 3 timeouts. Do you think they might take a shot in this spot, Jay?
Well, whenever we had a team that was between that 25 and 35-yard line, we used to call it the green zone or the shot zone. You have to be alert for it. Most teams assume they already have 3 in the bank. Take a shot towards the end zone.
Split Scott out, and they throw it to him. And Stevie Scott stretches forward toward the 1st down marker.
You know, Brandon, it's really interesting. Stevie Scott was recruited by Scott Frost's staff when he was at UCF as a linebacker. Tom Allen told me today IU also recruited him as a linebacker, but Mike Hart argued with the head coach, the running backs coach in Indiana, said we should give him the choice. Scott decided to choose running back, and as Allen told me earlier today, I think that's worked out pretty well for us.
I would say so. He's been a revelation ever since last year when he came in as a freshman. He got Indiana the 1st down there as we approach 2 minutes. Ramsey fakes the throw, then does dump it off underneath, but it's intercepted by Alex Davis. A little behind Fillier, and Alex Davis, the senior, just got his first career pick, and it's a big one. And it's a BTN standout presented by Auto Owners.
Yeah, and like you said, I was a little behind Watt Fillier, but again, he was starting to look upfield. And Alex Davis was retreating to try to go make a tackle. Well, instead, he got a gift. Nice catch by him, and a costly turnover here before the half for Indiana. Thinking you're at least getting a field goal, now Nebraska has a chance to go down and get a score.
And a keeper by McCaffrey. And a first down gain by Luke McCaffrey out to the 38. And Ramsey back to the headset. McCaffrey, first pass is a Nebraska Cornhusker, and it's complete to Wan'Dale Robinson. And Robinson backing his way all the way near the Indiana 40.
As you mentioned, so far it's been a run with McCaffrey, and then a screen pass. Nice, easy throw for Luke McCaffrey, and going tempo again for the Cornhuskers.
Plenty of time, all 3 timeouts as well. And give it to Robinson. Think about the kicking woes of Nebraska. They're just 4 of 12 on field goals this year. They've had 3 different players kick field goals, with Pickering being out until today.
That's tough as a play caller, kind of feeling that pressure, knowing you have to get 6 going down the field because you can't rely on the 3.
And McCaffrey's going to be hit right around the line of scrimmage. Coming up, the linebacker Micah McFadden. And we'll be back in 30 seconds after the timeout. Coming up at the half, Mike Hall and the gang going to get you caught up on Week 9 of the Big Ten on the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups halftime report. Ohio State with the big win in Wisconsin.
You have to wonder how often Luke McCaffrey has worked with the first-team offense in a 2-minute drill. And I know you can do it. Having bye week a week ago, the opportunity to do it with maybe the 2s, but not with the 1s.
Yeah, different situation here. So he turns around and hands it off, and Robinson almost broke that thing, but he was taken down by the safety, Khalil Bryant. Still an 11-yard gain, 2 timeouts, 45 seconds.
If I'm defensive coordinator Kay Womack, I'm telling my guys, hey, they haven't thrown the ball downfield once with McCaffrey yet. Trying to stop this run game, force them to throw it downfield.
Spielman in motion. This time McCaffrey is going to throw it downfield for the end zone. And it is caught for the Nebraska touchdown by Kenavaya Noah. Did Noah have possession, though, all the way through? Let's see.
See, the ball's kind of moving around. There's the foot inbounds. Looks like it's tucked away by the time he leaves it there. And Luke McCaffrey showing I can throw it downfield.
So how about that? McCaffrey, the freshman, comes in, 3rd-string quarterback. That's his first career touchdown pass. And Noah, the Cal grad transfer, just stays in bounds. And the Cornhuskers have a 21-16 lead. The freshman, the legacy, coming in, making a nice play. So the young man, the true freshman, Luke McCaffrey, leads Nebraska down the field and puts them back in the driver's seat.
Really an impressive drive. I mean, he has an opportunity. Again, they mostly run down the field. And again, the play call by Scott Frost to roll your young quarterback out. He gave him 2. There's only 2 guys in the route. So it's a simple read for the young guy. Indiana looked like they busted coverage, allowing Noah to get wide open in the end zone.
Luke McCaffrey has never thrown an incompletion as a Nebraska Cornhusker. He's 2 for 2. This is kind of the game we expected as the football just fell off the tee. But we mentioned how big it is for both teams. Indiana trying to get to 6 wins. And Nebraska really feels like this is a pivotal game in their season.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at the coaches will never say this publicly, but when you look at the schedule, you have an understanding of teams that you feel like you match up with athletically, and some teams where you're going to need to play a really clean game to win. And I know Scott Frost looks at that schedule and says this is one that we need to win, especially here at home in Lincoln.
Well, that is going to make things difficult for Indiana if they wanted to try to do anything with 34 seconds to go. Let's see that touchdown again.
You see the rollout here to the right. Two guys pull. So Indiana's thinking this is a run with the quarterback. And they fool Marcelino Ball. You see right here, it looks, ball drops in the flat. Like it's a zone coverage, and you have to credit McCaffrey for finding him. And again, the play design, nicely done by Scott Frost and offensive coordinator Troy Walters.
Teammates celebrating with McCaffrey. He looks like a freshman. He is baby-faced over there on the sidelines. And now Indiana looks like they're content to just go into the locker room down 21-16. The Hoosiers will receive the kick in the third quarter, but they will be down by 5 after that last touchdown drive by Luke McCaffrey and the Cornhusker offense.
Really, both these teams are saying, what if? You know, think about the one fumble recovery by Indiana that go all the way down, switches momentum, and then the interception by Ramsey, throwing it behind Watt Fillier. That leads to a Nebraska score. So a little back and forth. Costly turnovers by both teams, and we got a good football game.
Boy, do we ever. This is what we expected. Good battle today in Lincoln. Halftime report brought to you by Reese's after this. October and almost November. Sellout crowd at Lincoln, Nebraska. 21-16. Very entertaining first half. 513 total yards of offense. As we get a look at our quarterback comparison presented by Unleaded 88. And as you see these numbers, remember that Noah Vedral went out in the second quarter. See at the bottom there, McCaffrey came in 2 for 2, 46 yards and a touchdown. Brandon and James back with you from the booth, and you think again about the enormity of this game for both of these programs. And I don't want to be too hyperbolic, but look, Indiana hasn't been 5-2 since 2007. This is a huge game for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, it's the earliest opportunity they have to clinch a bowl eligibility in 12 seasons, and that's important to Indiana fans and to these Hoosiers. And Tom Allen trying to build a program, it's important for his squad. And so Indiana, when you think about them, this game will go a long way to kind of helping build that program up. And again, only the 4th time in 25 years of trying to get to a bowl. The best 8-game starts, as you mentioned, since 1993. So the Hoosiers are trying to get that done here in Lincoln.
And meanwhile, the Huskers need 2 wins the rest of the way to get to 6 for their bowl opportunity. And you look at their schedule for what Scott Frost and company has coming up. They need to, if they don't win here, they've got to find 2 somehow the rest of the way.
Yeah, well, there's 2 West powers in there, Wisconsin and Iowa. They'll get to host both of those teams, but when you're to your 3rd string quarterback possibly here in a football game against a confident Indiana team, it'd go a long way to your bowl eligibility to get a win today.
All right, let's go down to Rick.
Brandon, I caught up with Scott Frost as he was leaving the field to head in at halftime. I asked him how much of what he would call for Adrian Martinez or Noah Vedral that he would call for Luke McCaffrey in the second half. He said, all of it. Then he paused for a second and added, at least I hope I can call all of it. As for Tom Allen, I asked if the 35 rushing yards bothered him, if he felt like the Hoosiers had to get something going on the ground. He said, absolutely not. We are going to stick with our strength. And right now, that's taken on this Nebraska secondary.
Peyton Ramsey, Rick, 15 of 19, very efficient in that first half. First play from scrimmage in the third quarter is a handoff, so they do try to get something on the ground. Just a couple of yards there for Stevie Scott.
Yeah, it's just the 5th carry there for Stevie Scott. And again, I mentioned how they have been better at running the football, and Nebraska had been struggling before the bye. And I expect them to try to attack that a little bit more here in the second half of this football game.
Stevie's got 18 carries, 108 yards against Maryland last week. Over the middle, Fillier couldn't hang on. Incomplete as he was dragged to the ground by Colin Miller, who is actually an Indiana kid from Fishers, Indiana, just up the road from Bloomington.
Yeah, nice job finishing here. Fillier has the ball, But you see Miller lay out with that right hand kind of swipe down. Nebraska trying to force a 3-and-out to start the second half.
Watch the play clock. They just get it off at 1. Over the middle, failure, first down, Indiana. That was a similar situation to their opening drive of the game where they silenced the crowd with a big third down conversion.
Yeah, the 10th reception for Whop Philyor, and a nice job by Ramsey staying in the pocket. Just a simple over route, and he beats Lee. Peyton Ramsey stood in there. He took a shot delivering the football, but showing his toughness getting up for this play.
Tough indeed. Redshirt junior Peyton Ramsey, son of a coach, played for his dad Doug at Cincinnati Elder High School. Now he's looking to throw it here. He dumps it off. Ronnie Walker, first time he's seen action today, and he's dropped behind the line of scrimmage by JoJo Doman.
We see Ramsey kind of looking like he was holding his chest there a little bit. Let's look at the shot he takes right there. That's a helmet to the sternum. Caleb Tanner. You can see Ramsey. I've had a bruised sternum before. You take a shot directly there. That hurts.
Shaking out the cobwebs before this 2nd and 10 play. A great article this week in the Indianapolis Star by Zach Osterman about Ramsey, and you mentioned it earlier. Look, this is a kid that could have transferred, so popular today, the transfer portal, but he has hung in there, and what a leader he has been on and off the field for this Indiana crew. And he gets it out to Philyor. The Philyor's dropped for a loss. Muhammad Berry coming in. You wonder if this could have been targeting.
Well, you look at it, he leads with his helmet. He puts that helmet down and uses that as a weapon there right in the sternum.
Dean, what did you think?
He's short. Hey, Bo, I think he's short. Right knee is down.
We'll try to get back to Dean in a second here. 3rd down and 12.
Ball is about half yard short of the foul.
Clean pocket for Ramsey. Philyor again. 1st down, Indiana. Just a couple of gigantic 3rd down conversions. Ooh, Philyor better be careful. And a flag comes in because of what you just saw.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 1 for Tawney, his first of the game, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, 1st down, Indiana.
Tom Allen trying to calm him down, but again, it is still 1st down, Indiana.
You can tell Whop Philyor, I think, is disappointed in himself. You get so competitive in this game, there's no room for that in college football. You're going to get called for that every single time. The taunting penalty, that's easy for the officials, but Tom Allen is trying to make sure that his wide receiver stays in the football game mentally, because they're going to need him. They've used him over and over here today.
Yeah, he has 12 catches. He's over 140 yards. So that penalty after the play, but it backs Indiana up to their own 49. And Stevie Scott takes it into Husker territory. Whop Philyor back out there. Mentioned the 12 catches, his career high, which came earlier this year, 14 receptions. He's in motion. Ramsey going to Ronnie Walker, had to come back to grab it. He's going to be a yard shy of the marker, 3rd down.
See here, yeah, that ball hits the ground there. You see that rolling on the turf.
A break for Indiana. Let's see if they look at it.
Rolling on the field is a completed catch. The play's under further review.
Yeah, this is coming back, and it's going to make it a 6-yard swing the other direction. Another look. Yeah, no question.
Yeah, the thing hits the ground, it rolls. That's going to be easy to overturn, and it's going to bring up, I believe, 3rd and 7 here.
But Indiana today, James, they have been really good on 3rd down.
Yeah, they have. They're 4 for 7 here today so far, and you have to figure that Whop Phillier is going to be the man that they're going to look to. They've looked to him all game, 12 receptions, 147 yards, and on a 3rd down and 7 on this first drive of the second half, I expect them to try to target Whop again.
And Ramsey 19 of 24. Trying to figure out where the clock is and all that stuff. And now here's Ron Snodgrass for the announcement.
After review, it's an incomplete pass. 3rd down at the 48-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 11 minutes, 47 seconds. 11:47. Thank you.
3 times in this game, Indiana has converted a 3rd and 6 or more. They'll try to do it again here. Peyton Ramsey out of the gun. Nebraska gets pressure with 4. And Ramsey has to throw it away. And this time that black shirt defense holds up.
Yeah, Brandon, they run a stunt on the defensive line. You mentioned they only rush 4. But Khalil Davis, number 94, is going to come up on over. He uses the pick sent by his brother Carlos. Does a nice job forcing the pressure. Once you flush that quarterback outside, he's not able to set his feet. No one was open. Smart decision by Ramsey to throw it away, settle for the punt, and you hope to get a really good down inside the 10-yard line if you're Indiana.
You think back to that Whop Phillier unsportsmanlike penalty that loomed large there, eventually taking Indiana out of at least a field goal situation, as Spielman calls for the fair catch. Nebraska by 5 early 3rd quarter. Here's a look at the Haymarket here in Lincoln. Such a popular area all year round, especially on Saturday game days in the fall. Picture perfect weather in front of 90,000 at Memorial Stadium as the Cornhuskers take back over. Again, under the guidance of the true freshman McCaffrey as he hands it off to another true freshman in Wan'Dale Robinson for a gain of 2. Well, if nothing else, Nebraska's getting a look at their future here.
Yeah, they are. I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson, he does everything for this team. I mean, the rushing, the receiving, already holds the freshman records.
And here he's getting upended, lifted up and driven down by Micah McFadden. Wan'Dale Robinson is over 100 scrimmage yards between the rushing and the receiving that he's had here this afternoon. Late pitch out to Robinson. but he's going to be dropped short. And on fourth down, Nebraska will be forced to punt with a 3-and-out.
Well, I mentioned those game-changing plays, and 3-and-outs are considered one of them to defensive coordinator Kane Wombeck. And look at this. That's their fourth one already. They want to get to 10. They've had 2 3-and-outs. They had a takeaway. They've been doing a lot of good stuff. They just got to be able to try to get to that 10. That'll help there in a 3-and-out in your first defensive series of the second half.
And that punt off the side of the foot of Isaac Armstrong. A guy who comes in averaging over 42 yards per punt, but not a good result there. In fact, it's only a 19-yard punt for the senior from right here in Lincoln, Nebraska. 60 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, and oh yeah, we got a great game too. Let's take a look at the SoFi academic ambitions, and we shine the spotlight on linebacker Will Honus, junior from Wichita, Kansas, 3.64 GPA. Not too bad for the linebacker, and he's out there ready to lead this defense. .57 to go in the third as Ramsey fires that complete to Ty Freifogel, who had the touchdown earlier. Here he's got it inside the 30 to the 28.
Yeah, Freifogel, he's second today in receptions for Indiana. Obviously, Watt Fillier leading the way with 12, but that's his third of the game. And you mentioned the touchdown reception, big body wide receiver.
Indiana's got a couple of those big guys out wide. Hale, Westbrook. A lot more size at receiver than Nebraska. Stevie Scott taking it right around the line to gain. There's going to say he's a little short. He'll bring up 3rd and 1.
If I'm Tom Allen, I'm thinking this is 4-down territory. Not because of the score, but just because you got 3rd and a few inches here, it looks like. And you mentioned those big body wide receivers. They're so good at throwing those back shoulder fades. I would expect them sooner or later in this game to try that again. I worked earlier with Freifogel. Try getting another one of those late in the second half here.
This time they're going to give it back to Stevie Scott, and he backs his way for, I believe, a 1st down. Wait for the spot. Yes, 1st down, Indiana. Not by much. Let's get another peek at this, James.
You see right there where the sticks are. Let's see if he gets that ball across, that spin. Looks like he does.
Peyton Ramsey thought so.
Stevie Scott's a big human being, but when you run into Carlos Davis at 6'2", 320, he might be a big back, but that's a big D lineman he ran into there.
Yeah, Davis is 90 pounds heavier than Stevie Scott. Empty set, Ramsey, all kinds of time. And now he finds who else? Watt Fillier down inside the 5, 1st and goal, Hoosiers.
Fillier just runs an over route again. 13th reception. He's getting close to that 14 career high for him that he had earlier this year against Michigan State. Peyton Ramsey had plenty of time to sit in the pocket and deliver the football. The O-line protecting Ramsey in this football game. Nebraska only has 1 sack today. Plenty of time to operate in the pocket.
Watt Fillier, that was his 4th catch of 20 or more yards to set up Indiana nicely. Ellis in motion. Ellis gets it, and there's nobody home on that side. The freshman David Ellis with his 1st career touchdown in an Indiana uniform, and it puts the Hoosiers back in front. Do you go for 2, or do you go ahead and kick the extra point?
I think you go for 2 here. It seems like Peyton Ramsey is signaling to the sideline that we're going for 2, and they're going to line up for it here.
It's at that time of the game with still a lot left on the clock where it's a decision, but Tom Allen says let's try to get the field goal lead. Stevie Scott motions out. They throw it to the left for Freifogel. Flag comes in. It's jarred free, but I think we're going to have interference on DiCaprio Boodle.
Pass interference. Defense, number 23. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat the try.
Yeah, we'll see here. Boodle in the hand fighting. He's got that arm hooked. He doesn't give Freifogel an opportunity. That must be the matchup that they liked. I mentioned early with the impact players, Lamar Jackson, his height 6'3", 215. Boodle's the 5'10" corner. They love the Freifogel, that 6'2" on the 5'10". Earlier for the touchdown, they tried to fade that time. Boodle gets the penalty.
Hale this time in motion. Ramsey off his back foot, finding his tight end, Peyton Hendershot, and Hendershot took a shot from Garrett Nelson, but he held on. And Indiana with a 3-point lead.
You see here, they run a levels concept. Peyton Ramsey finds Watt Villier, getting him down inside the 5-yard line. And then just the fly sweep by David Ellis. And Peyton Hendershot showing some toughness. Hold on to that football.
So the true freshman from Clinton Township, Michigan. David Ellis, his first career score. Kid that actually originally verbal to Central Michigan. And Michigan State offered late, but he kept with Indiana. Now Indiana up front. Nebraska trying to get their crowd back into this thing. Jared Smollar to boot it away for Indiana. And over the head of Brady Belt. All right, let's take a look at today's First Net authorized replay as we go back to the touchdown.
Yeah, that's Ellis. You mentioned him, and he's usually a really good returner for this team. They're finding ways to get him the football on offense. Just a jet sweep. They catch Nebraska in man coverage, and that's a hard play for the corner to try to come over and make. Nice run by Ellis.
And James, that was not just a lack of execution by Nebraska, but a lack of understanding. The defensive staff was right next to me yelling at the Huskers almost as if they knew what play was coming. They were asking for another defender to get on the other side of the ball, and no one got there in time, and Ellis simply walked in.
And now it is their offense taking over, and Luke McCaffrey stepping out of bounds after a nice gain of 9 yards, 2nd and 1. Scott Frost has now gone to his 3rd string quarterback. Again, no Adrian Martinez today. Vedra left in the 2nd quarter with the injury. And now it's McCaffrey.
Yeah, well, what Rick Pizzo was talking to us about, look at this Smuke here on the top of your screen. He's trying to motion. Somebody come over here. We're short on this side of the field. Instead, no one adjusts. Used to call that bossing over to the run strength. No one, as linebackers, moves over. And that's why they're upset, the defensive staff.
And now Wan'Dale Robinson. It got across the 40 and they got hit hard by Andre Brown. The only quarterback that we haven't seen for Nebraska is Andrew Bunch.
Yeah, Luke McCaffrey only 2 pass attempts so far. One of those was a screen.
But they're having success with his legs here. Takes it to the Indiana 45. It's a nice 14-yard run. And as we've seen, they want to keep going fast. Keeps it here. I thought he was going to give it to Wan'Dale Robinson, but McCaffrey hangs on to it for a 3-yard pickup.
And they went fast and went back to the same play. And McCaffrey keep it.
And now Indiana once again has an injured player down. And yet again we hear from the crowd at Memorial Stadium, and Scott Frost shakes his head. And it's Andre Brown, the cornerback, making his 37th career start. And we'll take the injury timeout. Back here in Lincoln, Brandon Gaudin, James Laurinaitis, Rick Pizzo, Bart Fox producing, Pat O'Connor directing. A lot of tension in the truck, an Indiana guy and a Nebraska guy next to each other. And here's a pitch out to Mazur. And Wyatt Mazur able to escape and get down to the 31-yard line. The senior walk-on, and now he's limping.
Well, nice job by McCaffrey holding the ball long enough to draw the defender. Mazur does a nice spin move on McFadden. Able to pick up the first down. And again, Kane Womack, the defensive coordinator for Indiana, saying that this is the most that he's had to prepare for in a week of preparation, talking about Nebraska's offense, just how many multiple things they do as a unit. It's got to be challenging for a D coordinator.
Mazur off for this play, and it's a design quarterback run with Mills as the lead blocker. Well, those Nebraska quarterbacks, they've rushed for 63 yards and a couple of touchdowns in this game. On 2nd and 8, play fake, and now McCaffrey wants to take off again, and then he tries to throw at the last second. But it is well in front of Cade Warner. On an all-new journey, learn more about Ohio State's J.K. Dobbins and Chris Orr, Wisconsin. Plus, go behind the scenes at the Horseshoe for the Badgers and the Buckeyes. It's the Journey, Tuesday, 10:30 Eastern on BTN and the Fox Sports app. So Ohio State taking care of business. Ran all over Wisconsin today.
Yeah, they pulled away in the second half, but that was a physical football game. You could feel those hits watching it on TV.
Backing up, McCaffrey drops it off for Robinson. First down, Nebraska. We'll see. Maybe they said that he stepped out short.
Yeah, he stepped out with that right foot right there before making contact.
They moved the sticks on the field. They might have to bring him back. The chain crew was a little antsy, and now Ron Snodgrass is saying bring him back as you see Wilson down. And they're bringing over the chains here. Don't get these measurements that much anymore. First down. Let's see where the ball is when that foot steps out.
You see the foot is out there. It's just tough to see from that angle where it is, but
looked like the correct spot. They needed 8. They got 8. First down.
chain crew getting a workout in, going the entire width of the field.
Well, they spread it up, spread it back,
absolutely,
spread it across. Learning their key. And now flags. This is going to back Nebraska up 5.
False start. Offense, number 75, 5-yard penalty, first down.
It's on the left guard, Trent Hickson. It's a guy that they actually pulled in the Minnesota game and brought in Brock Bando in that spot.
Yeah, those pre-snap penalties are the ones that drive you nuts as a coach. You can live with the holdings and the stuff that has to do with competition, but it's the mental stuff that keeps you up at night.
That was their third false start of the game. Now Robinson trying to get those yards back, and he will. Staying on his feet. My goodness. He just reminds you so much of Wan'Dale Moore at Purdue. You just can't bring him down.
You're absolutely right, Brandon. And just, I love the competitiveness of which he runs the football with. Like I said, not a very big guy, just 5'10", 190, but he's not just going to run out of bounds. He's going to continue to fight for yardage and break tackles.
11th play of the drive here. Back to Robinson, and he's going to be short. So 3rd and 2 coming up.
Yeah, McFadden tried to take his head off there. He was a little upset that he missed a tackle on the last play. Took a direct line and made a nice stop there on Robinson.
Remember all the kicking woes that Nebraska's had. See what they do if they do not get it here. McCaffrey keeps, tries to stretch out. He's going to be short. It's like a full yard and a half. What do you do?
James Head. Frost is signaling to kick it, and you can tell he's disappointed. James Head makes a nice play to hold on to McCaffrey's leg to bring him down, and Scott Frost looks disgusted that he has to settle for the field goal. And as you mentioned, the kicking woes. Everyone here at Memorial Stadium going to be holding their breath on this kick.
Pickering missed earlier in the starter into the season, but was injured the first 7 games. This is the first game he has played in all year. And that one is good to tie us at 24. A good one. We've had 3 lead changes and now our first tie. Barrett Pickering hits the 30-yard field goal to knot us up at 24 all. But again, if you're going to have a 13-play drive and you're Scott Frost and you're a perfectionist, you're like, man, I wanted to get that lead back.
Well, you can tell that's the competitor in him, and meeting with him yesterday, he can still play, man. I'll tell you what, that's a big QB back in the day, and tough.
He was a part of the last Nebraska national title team here in '97. That one is going to go out of bounds before it's touched. So it'll come out to the 35. Well, we got football right now, but in just a few days, the excitement of Big Ten basketball returns on Tuesday, November 5th. These 2 schools in action on that day. Western Illinois and Indiana on BTN Plus, and the UC Riverside in Nebraska on BTN at 9 Eastern. Go to btnplus.com or download the app today. Hard to believe. We're sitting on the doorstep of crossover season.
Yep.
You mentioned Scott Frost, the 44-year-old head coach. 4-8 last year, 4-3 this year, and trying to get to win number 5. Whop failure, incomplete, no flag. Coverage by Doman. Ramsey 21 of 28 after that last incompletion, and here he's going to tuck it and run. Pocket collapsed, and that Red Sea parted. First down.
Yeah, he looks up and he sees that Will Honus in coverage had his back turned. Like you said, the Red Sea parted. He was able to take it. What was there? Picking up the first down. Peyton Ramsey today has shown his athleticism as well.
Stepping in for Michael Penix, who was a game-time decision. Penix did make the trip, warmed up, and Ramsey has been the guy. Split out Stevie Scott. Ramsey's got his tight end wide open, Peyton Hendershot. That's the first reception of the game for Hendershot. He did have the 2-point conversion earlier.
Man, he was wide open. There was no Cornhusker defender anywhere near him. He recognized it early. Really nice hands by Peyton Hendershot. He's having himself a really nice season for Indiana.
And now he has 391 receiving yards after that 40-yard catch, and that's 12th in the nation among tight ends. Stevie Scott. There just hasn't been a whole lot of space for Stevie Scott. Will Honus on the stop after a short gain. 1 minute left in the third quarter. 2nd down and 9 for Indiana. With 5 wide, Ramsey goes toward the end zone. Here comes the flag. They're going to get Lamar Jackson. Defending Ty Freifogel.
You'll see here Jackson, the taller corner of the two, and
pass interference, defense, number 21. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
Seemed like he was holding.
He was, with the left hand was on the chest of Freifogel, and Peyton Ramsey's targeted Freifogel now 3 jump balls, 2 of which have drawn flags, so trying to take advantage of that, the big body wide receivers.
So the ball placed at the 2. Stevie Scott won't get near there. No gain officially. 2nd and goal, and watch the clock as we wind down toward the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, they tried the same motion with Ellis that time. They did the fly sweep motion with him coming across the line of scrimmage there, and hopefully trying to get those linebackers to expect it, call it out, shuffle with it. Good discipline that time by Nebraska's defense.
Indiana doesn't have to snap it if they don't want to. And Ramsey might try to bluff this. Well, they do snap it. And off the play fake, he goes for the end zone for his tight end, Matt Bjornsson, and Bjornsson is in for the score. With no time left in the third quarter.
Well, they hurry up and snap it because they had a play that they liked. And look at that throw. Nice tight spiral. Nice catch. Turns it up.
And Matt Bjornsson, who's been battling a leg injury and is kind of the 3rd on the depth chart behind Hendershot and Ivy, finds the end zone for the first time of the season. And the Hoosiers 15 minutes away from possibly clinching a bowl bid already. Indiana outscoring the Cornhuskers 15-3 in the 3rd frame. And the kick into the wind, and Mazur will take it. Wyatt Mazur out to the 35 before he steps out of bounds. Remember tonight on BTN, Lexi Sun leading the Huskers into a top 20 volleyball showdown with the Boilermakers. It's all powered by Unleaded 88 tonight, 8 Eastern on BTN and the Fox Sports app.
That Haymarket district will still be packed to watch that.
Absolutely, and the people that know what they're doing will be at Ivanacone for some ice cream where you didn't go last night because your body's a temple. McCaffrey keeping it, and he'll take it out to the 45 for a 9-yard gain. Well, it's clear that they just, and now an Indiana player down and the boos come again. And that is the 4th time that we have seen this. It's Sio Noafanga Tatoa who's down on the field. What I was going to say, though, is they continue with McCaffrey to run the ball or hand it off. Really nothing in the passing game for him.
Yeah, they've only attempted 4 passes with Luke McCaffrey so far. 1 for a touchdown. Schemed it up nicely, but so far so much run. Trying to make easy throws with the play action stuff. Easy reads for the young quarterback.
And we'll take a break with the injured player. Big Ten standings. We talked a lot earlier about Ohio State and Penn State. Remember, of course, Minnesota right now controlling the West.
Yeah, Minnesota is with a big lead again today, and Penn State up 28-7 in East Lansing. You have to assume Penn State's going to move up the top 5 with Oklahoma going down.
McCaffrey, we talked about him only throwing 4 times. His 5th pass pass of the game is complete to Noah, then Noah fumbled it. And I think Burgess jumped on it for Indiana.
This is all because of the effort of Alfred Bryant.
And yes, they do say a fumble. Burgess with the ball. You said Bryant caused it all?
Yes, Bryant is celebrating, and when you see it, it's retracing from the defensive lineman. It's the effort plays. Tom Allen, his energy, his players, they follow suit. Look at the effort by Big 92 coming back. Boom, punches the ball out. That's all effort. That's all want to. Things that don't take talent. Tom Allen preaches about it. Alfred Bryant comes up with a big play, giving his offense the ball back.
Going into the fourth quarter last week, Indiana only had 4 takeaways on the season, and now they have 4 in the last 4 quarters. And Ramsey is going to take off, and a flag comes in here at the end of this after a short 1-yard gain. This is going to be a hold on the Hoosiers.
Holding, offense, number 68, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Peyton Ramsey, though, he's been really good.
Yeah, 23 for 31 today, and he's used his legs to get a score. He's thrown a really nice jump ball to Ty Freifogel here. And when you look about Peyton Ramsey, he's so efficient. And when you see him, he made one bad throw behind Wap Fuller, which I'm sure Wap wants that back. It led to an interception, but he just operates the offense. He knows what he is, makes really good decisions. Having a nice day.
7 completions of 20 or more yards, and he's going back to the air here. If he can find somebody to throw it to. Flips it downfield, diving attempt, but incomplete. Now, laying out was Hendershot, but he couldn't keep it in bounds. The other thing for Ramsey is he just doesn't make many mistakes. So smart as a senior.
He knows where, he's been in this offense. He knows where to go with the football. Kalen DeBoer saying that he practiced so well, especially the Rutgers week. He felt that he was so impressive. He's like, it almost jumped off the film how efficient and locked in he was. He's continued that, practicing really well, playing well today.
He's going deep here, looking for Freifogel. Freifogel hauls it in. What a catch by the junior from Mississippi.
Well, I mentioned taking shots to your big wide receiver. I thought that was usually down in the shot zone or the red zone. But here they decide to on 2nd and 20. And Freifogel goes up over the 6'3", just basically boxes them out, uses that big body to shield away Lamar Jackson.
And that 38-yard reception, that puts Ramsey over 300, passing at 316 now. This time fakes the pitch out. And is dragged down by Lamar Jackson after a gain of a couple. We saw taunting earlier on Wap Fuller, Indiana receiver. Could this have been a penalty for the same?
Absolutely. You do some, it looks like taunting to me, but Wap's a little more obvious. You have to wonder if the officials had eyes on Freifogel there, but they have to be careful. You don't want a big play like that to come back 15 yards over something that can completely be avoided.
2nd and 7. Here comes some pressure. Going for Westbrook. Incomplete. Had a chance at it. Ramsey just kind of lofted it up.
Yeah, and he put it right where it needed to be. Westbrook usually makes those catches. Look at the location of this football. Back shoulder, look at that. Westbrook usually comes down with those. Again, when you have receivers, Freifogel 6'2", Westbrook 6'3", Donovan Hale 6'4", you have the advantage over smaller corners.
Third and 7. Ramsey, incomplete. And he was about to be popped by Alex Davis just as he released that. So now you've got a decision. You're kind of in no man's land. It's 4th or 7 or a 43-yard field goal.
If I'm Tom Allen, I'm going for it. You're in the 4th quarter. You're on the road, trying to get bowl eligible. And your defense has played really well. You know that the other team in Nebraska has only thrown the ball 5 times since McCaffrey's come in. So you trust your defense to stand up against that. They're not going to just drop back pass the entire time. Be aggressive.
And they're going into the wind as well. Ramsey, Indiana needs 7 yards. And they're going to get him with failure. And then he runs into someone over there on the sideline, right around the line to gain. And there's a flag down, and it's going to be a late hit on Nebraska as well.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 96, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Yeah, that's Carlos Davis, and that's obvious for the officials to throw the flag there. It takes a couple steps.
Scott Frost has a word for Khalil Davis, but yeah, that's a guy in Carlos Davis making his 33rd career start. And now Indiana set up nicely, 1st and goal. Indiana trying to make this a 2-score game. Stevie Scott up the middle and powering his way forward for the Hoosiers score as he ran right over DiCaprio Boodle. And the Hoosier faithful that have made the trek from Bloomington love it.
Well, downhill, they throw, and then they bring in Stevie Scott at the end, and he finishes with authority right over the top of Boodle. Stevie Scott excited to get in the end zone.
230 pounds of force, the Syracuse, New York native. And as Rick mentioned earlier, he was recruited by this Nebraska staff when they were at UCF as a linebacker.
Well, he has that linebacker mentality, that's for sure. Finishing that run off. And how about the confidence Tom Allen has in his ball club? Go for it on 4th down, and not a 4th and 1. The effort by Bryant. And Stevie Scott, the linebacker recruit, playing running back, getting in the end zone.
Stevie Scott with a touchdown run, and Indiana has opened up a 14-point lead with 12 and change to go.
But always go back to the hustle play by Alfred Bryant. Retracing, getting a pass rush, you don't get there, turns around, great effort, punches the ball out. Next thing you know, Indiana turns that into a touchdown.
Now Nathaniel Snyder kicks it away. Touchback. So we saw Wap Fillier go out, and the person that he hit is on our crew. That's Brenda down there. Took a hard fall. She's being looked at. Thankfully, though, she appears to be okay.
Yeah, and you notice right away, Wap Fillier turned around and tried to help her up, and you always feel terrible in those situations. Glad that she's all right.
Yeah. She can go and sit down and relax for the final 12 and change. As Nebraska takes over here, down 2 scores. Out to Robinson. Flag comes down back around the line of scrimmage. We're going to get a second flag for that. Jamar Johnson was too late as he threw down Robinson after the play.
You might get a roughing the passer here late, it looks like, on Bryant, and then a late hit. Just trying to figure out which one to accept.
Alfred Bryant, as you said, the guy who forced the fumble on the last Nebraska possession.
Make a great play and then a boneheaded play, and then here you'll see A late throwdown by Jamar
Personal
Johnson.
foul, roughing the passer, defense. A 15-yard penalty be enforced from the end of the play. After the play, personal foul, late hit, defense. 15-yard penalty from the succeeding spot, automatic first down.
So a pair of 15-yard penalties. And Tom Allen said, that's right, guys, let's go. And since the second penalty was after the play, that's a big 30-yard swing.
Yeah, that's a lot there, and Tom Allen's trying to keep his guys mentally engaged here. Just because you have a 14-point lead, you can't get lackadaisical and start making bad decisions. You have to stay focused and play smart football.
Each team with 6 penalties. There's another direct snap to Robinson. We saw that a couple times in the first half, and here it works well for a 12-yard gain. Now a straight run left for McCaffrey. It continues to be mostly on the ground for this Nebraska team, and it's another first down pickup.
That's the 10th carry for Luke McCaffrey, and Scott Frost has the whole playbook wide open. He wasn't lying when he told Rick that after halftime. You're down to your third quarterback. He's still running them.
This time McCaffrey with an option, and he's going to keep it. Cut outside and pick up another first down. First and goal.
Those 30 yards of penalties seem to give this Cornhusker offense a little spark. You get, again, 2 bad mistakes mentally by Indiana. And then you have a big run by Robinson and McCaffrey, 2 in a row, and it seems like they have this defense now on their heels.
And you weren't hearing boos, they were cheering Luke.
Yeah.
I think we're already picking up something new here in Lincoln for the young quarterback. He's going to run it again. This time not as much room. So they had 3 straight rushes of 10 or more yards, and then that one for a pickup of 2.
They've run them so much, you have to wonder if Scott Frost is thinking, when do I sprinkle in a play action pass? They're going to be expecting run, run, run.
Wan'Dale Moore was kind of pinned down there. He gets up, but Indiana has Alfred Bryant down. And here we go again with the Boo Birds. The thing is, you never want to speculate that it's not an injury, because if a kid is seriously hurt, then you sound bad. But it is now 6 times, James, that Indiana has gone down with injuries on defense.
Yeah, and look, some of them you can tell by the reactions. If they're initially after contact, you assume, okay, something happened. But it's some of them that have happened where it's, you know, if a guy's getting up, walking around, and then he goes down, those obviously grab your attention. And I think the Nebraska fans think all 6. You see big Bryant there trying to punch the ball out.
Ooh, well, that one kind of looked legit, the way his knee and ankle bent. Walks off gingerly. So Bryant out. At D tackle right now, you've got Jerome Johnson and DeMarcus Elliott before this 2nd and goal play. Chance of go big red here before the 2nd and goal. Carry by Robinson. And Robinson is in. Touchdown, Nebraska. Wan'Dale Robinson, over 150 50 yards from scrimmage, and he makes it a one-score game again. Extra point, good. And partner, we got a one-score game in the fourth quarter.
Sure do. I was saying, where's Wan'Dale? Well, he's in the backfield. He's going in for 6 for the Cornhuskers.
Offense has been the theme. Nebraska with that last score within 7. It's 38-31. Gets the crowd re-energized. Gets the sideline re-energized.
You mentioned offense. Indiana 391 total yards. Nebraska 455. Partner, we still have 10:21 to play in this football game.
Nebraska's been pretty balanced. Indiana, they've done it all through the air. 323 of their 391 of the passing variety. David Ellis driven back into the end zone. Coming up Monday on BTN, go all access with Fred Hoiberg and the Nebraska basketball team in Italy, presented by U.S. Cellular. 8 Eastern Monday on BTN to the Fox Sports app. Now this crowd hoping that that black shirt defense can stand tall. Indiana's last 3 drives all resulted in touchdowns. Quick throw out to Stevie Scott. And Scott dragged down by Will Honus. Speaking of those last 3 drives, not bad.
As you mentioned, all 3 ending a touchdown. And you know what that play does to Stevie Scott? That's just a way of basically calling a run play. You spread them out, you get your running back the ball in space. He makes a move on Muhammad Berry, cuts up, gets 5 yards, and it's just another way of trying to, instead of just running the ball into the teeth of the big D line of Nebraska, you get at the Scott in some space.
It's his 3rd catch. He has 11 rushes for 37 yards to Scott. This time Fillier in motion, and they will hand it to Whop Fillier. Nothing to do there. That just steps out of bounds. So 3rd and 3 coming up for Indiana. And of all the 3rd downs they've had today, this one might be the biggest. Ramsey finds Scott wide open. Easy first down. In fact, all the way into Nebraska territory. Where'd the defensive breakdown happen?
Yeah, there's busted coverage here. And Scott, again, I love the way he finishes runs. Watch him look up defenders. Always lowering his shoulder. He's not going out of bounds. And that time, Nebraska, miscommunication on defense, letting Stevie Scott go free up the sidelines.
Pick up 23 huge yards. Ramsey's now up over 350 passing. It's time a handoff. Scott, good patience, cuts back, gets it to the 39.
This is what Indiana does. This is what offensive coordinator Kalen DeBoer likes to do. I mentioned it earlier. He likes to spread the ball out, throw it all over the place, and then he comes back to the running game. Kind of almost makes you forget about the ground game late in football games. They do it especially. It's easier to do that when you have a lead. Up 7 here in the 4th. You see Scott getting more action.
Saw Eric Chenander looking on, 39-year-old defensive coordinator. This D has once again been tested here this afternoon. Ramsey throwing down the sideline for Freifogel, incomplete, no flag. Coverage good by Lamar Jackson.
You see right here, watch Jackson and Freifogel both kind of pushing each other. Glad they let that go. That's just good coverage by Lamar Jackson.
Another third down for Indiana. Empty set. Ramsey wants to run it. Tries to get outside, but he's taken down from behind by Khalil Davis. And Davis gets taken down by his teammate Ben Stille with all the excitement.
That had a lot to do with the coverage for Nebraska. Payne Ramsey was looking all over the place, went through his progression, had nowhere to go, and the Cornhuskers are able to get home that time.
Now the decision, 4th and 5 or punt from the 40, and Indiana will punt from the 40. Hayden Whitehead. Beautifully done. Second time that Whitehead has pinned Nebraska inside the 10. But that Nebraska defense fired up after they get the stop. But the news here is Noah Vedral, who went out in the second quarter with an injury, is now back with 6:36 to go in the fourth quarter. It had been Luke McCaffrey. Now we go back to the sophomore Vedral. And that's the first snap he's taken in over 2 hours on the real clock, and he hands it off to Robinson, who's quickly tackled by Khalil Bryant.
You just wonder, with a lower body injury, how worn is he? He hasn't been in the rhythm of the football game for the entire second half. Interesting decision to put Vedral back in the game.
Throwing from his end zone and connecting with the tight end Jack Stoll.
And what it tells me is that he's more confident in Vedral's arm than McCaffrey's. Or you have to wonder if McCaffrey got dinged up himself, as you see the ice bag on his left knee there. So back and forth.
Wow.
And a banged up quarterback room overall for the Cornhuskers, and Vedral's trying to tough it out here in the fourth quarter.
This all goes back to Adrian Martinez's third quarter injury against Northwestern. That's when things started to get shaken up a bit. Now Spielman, who's been pretty quiet today, is making some noise here. Across the 40 goes J.D. Spielman. Just his third catch of the ball game.
Yeah, he had the big one earlier for 45 yards in the first quarter, I believe in the first drive, and that time they used Wan'Dale Robinson as a little bit of a distraction, finding J.D. Spielman.
It worked for 31 yards, and now this short completion back to the tight end Jack Stoll. But Noah Vedral left the game 8 of 9 passing. Now he's 10 of 11. Whistles before the snap. Timeout, Indiana.
Indiana.
Things are getting good in Lincoln.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
Don't leave us. We'll be back in 30 seconds. So these are your normal starters. They were ruled out, and we have seen all three of the other guys.
It's been interesting. I mean, you have to wonder, could Adrian Martinez have gone? Talking to Scott Frost yesterday, he said he's concerned about the long-term health of his quarterback.
Well, Vedral is back in his zone and going right back to J.D. Spielman, and he takes it inside the 40.
And that's impressive. Again, like you said, it was over 2 hours of real time of him playing in this football game, and to come back in his last few passes, he still has remained sharp without seeing a live rep in over 2 hours.
15 yards that time for Spielman after the 31-yard grab he had earlier on this drive. And guess who again? Spielman. His father, Rick, GM of the Vikings, is here today watching his son and 6 more yards there for him. Second and 4. Oh, he bobbled it in Robinson, but somehow he held on at the end after he got popped by James Miller.
Well, that is unbelievable. He's able to focus and get this football. Look at the focus of him looking this in after he misses it, knowing he's going to get a big shot. Nebraska fortunate that time to keep possession.
Boy, 2-yard loss, so now 3rd and 6. And as we hit the 4-minute mark, Robinson is going to be well short of the line to gain, but Nebraska is going to keep the offense on the field.
Yeah, and the high throw that time doesn't give Robinson an opportunity to make a move on the defender. Ziemba is able to get him down because Robinson's just trying to figure out how to keep his balance. That's a more accurate throw in front of Robinson. He's able to turn upfield and maybe put a move on the defensive end.
What do you think Scott Frost is going to?
He's got a bunch up top, 3 receivers tight. Now Spielman goes in motion, looking for JD.
See what he does. Vedral on the run, able to escape the pressure. Now a flag as that is incomplete, intended for Jack Stoll. And everybody holding their breath.
Offense number 71. Penalties declined. Results of play, first down.
And Indiana gets the football back with 3:23 to go.
And Tom Allen decides to bring Cam Jones up the middle. Forces Vedral out of the pocket. Incomplete pass would have been holding anyway had they completed it, but Tom Allen staying aggressive. Number 4, right up the middle, right up the gut. No one there to block him, and once you get the quarterback scrambling, there's only so much you can do, and it's good coverage downfield on the true freshman Mullen with the pass breakup.
So now the clock starts to become a story. Nebraska does have all 3 timeouts. Ramsey, handoff, Scott takes it right in the chest of Will Honus out to the 37, timeout Nebraska. And we will step aside as well for 30 seconds. Today's All-State Mayhem moment, a couple of interesting turnovers earlier in this game.
Yeah, well, here in Indiana, we've got big Stallings trying to take it all the way to the house, runs out of gas. And you see there, needed as much oxygen as they had on the sideline. And then the deflection off Wap Villiers' hands. Really an unfortunate bounce there for Indiana. Alex Davis getting his interception, but Nebraska has 2 timeouts left. They need 2 stops to get the ball back.
2nd and 7. Ramsey, here comes the pressure, and he just throws it away. He actually had failure, but got rid of it quickly with Honus coming in there.
And I'm okay with the play call. You have a really experienced quarterback who's smart, he's accurate, but he needs to make a better decision there. He needs to get that into somebody's hands. I'm okay with throwing it, but it has to be a swing route or a slant, something quick, so that you're almost guaranteed a catch to force Nebraska to take a timeout. Now you run the risk of Nebraska being able to put that in their pocket if they get the ball back on offense.
Indiana needs to get to the 45. Ramsey with pressure. He's going to take off, and he got there. Peyton Ramsey, what a game he is having, and they're a big 11-yard scamper.
How about the effort? No contain on the outside of the Cornhusker defense. He gets outside of Garrett Nelson, picks up a huge first down. Tom Allen was telling us earlier in the week when we had our call with him, the decision to start Penix was difficult because he knows how much it means to Peyton Ramsey. He knows how hard he prepares, the kind of competitor he is. He does everything you ask of a player. Really heady scramble that time.
And this time, Stevie Scott taken down by Markel Dismuke, but not before he gets it down to the 41, an 11-yard gain. But yeah, Ramsey, 351 passing yards, 42 rushing yards. And the coaches, as you're alluding to, could not have enough positive things to say about number 12 in the cream and crimson.
27 of 40 today, 351 yards through the air. 9 rushes, too, 42 yards and a touchdown. What a gift it is to have a guy like that stick around in your program.
They needed him today, and he has delivered. Now back to Stevie Scott. It's a good 7-yard gain, and the clock inside of 2 minutes as Nebraska's going to take one of their 2 remaining final timeouts. And we step aside again for 30 seconds. Don't forget tonight on BTN, Top 20 Volleyball Showdown in West Lafayette, Nebraska at Purdue, presented by Unleaded 88. Watch it on BTN of the Fox Sports app.
So if you're in the Cornhuskers right now, you got to be telling each other, you're trying, whoever gets the ball, hold them up and try to strip it. On the opposite side, Stevie Scott, you better hold on to that thing with 2 hands. That's the only way Nebraska's getting the ball back.
It is Stevie Scott, and Scott has the first down. And now Nebraska, not much they can do with just 1 timeout. Scott loves it. And the first half, Indiana only had 35 rushing yards. They're up over 80 in the second half now. Even if Nebraska uses that last timeout, all Indiana has to do here, James, is go down to a knee a couple of times.
Yeah, and that's one of the worst feelings when you're on defense and the team can just get in that victory formation. But how about Tom Allen and his Hoosiers? Came into a historical place, Memorial Stadium, historical program. First trip here, members of the Big Ten, and going to be bowl eligible.
And bowl eligible, as you see on your screen, for the 4th time in 25 years. Last bowl 2016. They actually haven't won a bowl game at Indiana since 1991, back in the Coach Mallory days, but they feel like they've got a team this year that can stop that streak.
Yeah, and with Michigan State losing to Penn State today, they're going to jump up ahead of Michigan State in the standings in the Big Ten East, and Tom Allen is trying to build himself a program there in Bloomington.
Ramsey down to a knee. And Scott Frost will take his final timeout. You think about this game for Scott Frost as Nebraska drops to 4-4. Look, again, it's a program last year in his first season that only won 4 games, but the fan base had so much hope after being projected to win the Big Ten West.
Yeah, when you have all those expectations, and it's debatable whether you want to say they were a little too soon, too much too soon for his team. But I guarantee this fan base at the beginning of the season, them seeing that as well, and already there's high expectations every year in Lincoln. They're a very proud fan base, very proud program. I didn't think that they'd be looking at this Indiana game as a must-win for bowl eligibility themselves. They'll have to go to Purdue, they'll host Wisconsin, go to Maryland, and then host Iowa. Still got to find 2 wins in there for the Cornhuskers.
And again, without their quarterback, Adrian Martinez. But still, it's pretty unanimous across the board that year 2 under Scott Frost is still going in the right direction, but not the result that they were hoping for through 8 games. Now, this is an Indiana program, though, that you talk about lack of going to the bowls. They have just struggled mightily, though, to get consistent road victories in conference. And this is a big one here today.
Really win close football games. I mean, they had an opportunity in East Lansing. They fought a close football game and a rivalry game up there. But to be able to come on the road and get a win in a close game. They'll host Northwestern now. They'll go to Penn State, host Michigan, and go to Purdue, obviously the old Oak and Bucket game, but there's still wins out there for this Hoosier football team.
And folks, Indiana is bowl eligible on October 26th. This is not a drill. The Hoosiers are 6-2 and will be bowling for the 4th time in 25 years. And let's go down to Rick Pizzo with Tom Allen.
An emotional Tom Allen. Coach, what is bringing on this emotion right now?
It's, you know, I love this team. The kids play so hard. To God be the glory. We've had a lot of adversity this week, things that people don't even know about. It's been a hard week. But this team fights, man. We got so much grit. There's so much love on this team for each other. The guys play hard. They play 60 minutes. It wasn't perfect. But this is, to do what we're doing now, this part of the season, everybody told us we couldn't do it. That's why this is emotional. And we're not defined by what others think we can do. I don't know what to say. I serve an awesome God, and I feel blessed.
You told me earlier this week that Peyton embodies the grit and the personality you want from this team. A young man who had the chance to go elsewhere after losing the starting job. Yeah. He sticks around, has a performance like this. What does that say about him as a player and as a man?
Well, you know, it does. It's a tremendous tribute to his character as a person. I said it last week. It's the way he was raised. It's his family, his dad, his mom, and he's just got something special about him. You know, he was hurt by the decision I had to make, but he stayed true to his teammates, and he stayed true to our program. And because of it, we're going to postseason. You know, and that's pretty special to know. Now we got to figure out how far we want to go, how warm we want it to be.
You do become bowl eligible inside one of the great stadiums in college football. Your program's first trip to Lincoln in a Big Ten conference game.
First time we won here since 1959.
I know one of your goals has been accomplished.
That's right.
What's the next goal on the list to accomplish for this team?
Well, we have 3 goals preseason. One of those 3 goals was to win our bowl game. So it wasn't just to get there. That's the bare minimum. So now we got to keep playing hard so we can decide how the kind of location we want to be playing our bowl game in. And then after that, it's about winning that game.
Tom, terrific effort. Congratulations to you and your team. Enjoy it. You guys deserve it.
I sure will. Thanks so much, Elio.
What a win for the Indiana Hoosiers. As he said, first time they've won here since the 50s. First time they'd even played here since 1977. But they get the job done behind that man, Peyton Ramsey, with a 38-31 victory. For Rick and James, I'm Brandon. Thanks for watching, everybody, as we say so long from Lincoln, Nebraska.